young black girls who didn't grow up with you, Sasha and Malia, in the White House, but are growing up in a moment when their very identities are under attack and their history is being erased. I mean, MLK Day and Juneteenth have been removed as free days at national parks, for instance. What message do you have for them?
Vote. I mean, it's always my message. Where we are isn't a statement of the failure of our democracy. It is the failure of people to engage in the democracy that's here. People fought and died for the right to vote. My father wouldn't have thought about not voting. And things were way worse for my father and his father than they were for any of us today. And there would never have been a situation where he felt like, I'm not going to bother, or everyone's the same, so I'm not going to engage. And engaging doesn't mean just the vote, but it means the awareness and the consciousness that, you can't let your phone distract you so much that you don't know what's going on. Our young people have to understand that they have a responsibility, our people, forget our young people, that they have a responsibility to stay connected and in tune and to understand in real terms who the people are they're letting lead. That's my message. Our democracy isn't broken. It's just not utilized. And we have to be vigilant and engage. Nothing is, we can't take anything for granted ever. We just got here. We just got here. 50 years ago, equal rights,
right.
I'm 62, this
as a full-fledged democracy.
As a full-fledged democracy, right. We just got here. And already we're like, I can't be bothered because it's not perfect. It took 400 years to get here. So we have to have some patience and some vigilance in it.
There is so much hope in your overall story, but for a lot of people in the country today, hope is hard to have or to hold on to. And I'm thinking people in your hometown of Chicago,
yes.
or right here in Los Angeles, who live with the fear that they or someone they know or care about have been or will be snatched up off the streets by federal agents.
And who would have thought that just 2 years ago? Who would have thought that would be the country that we're in?
Even with all that's awful, mm-hmm. What gives you hope when so much is so awful?
That little girl right there. Oh.
That's Olivia.
Olivia. Mm-hmm. There's no way that you can look at that beautiful little girl and not understand that we do not have the right or the luxury to become hopeless, right? If we are only doing this for us today, right, which is how it seems to be, we've come to this point where if I didn't win today, then I quit. We're the first generation of people of color and women that even thought that way. I mean, we think about everything our grandfathers and them before our mothers, what they did, and they knew none of it was going to benefit them in that. They were fighting for us. There wasn't an expectation that I was going to get a tax break or my life was going to change. They did it for us when we were young. And we've grown up a little entitled, right? Because people fought for us in ways, and then they handed us this wonderful life, not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. And they never, ever got too tired. Never. Although that wasn't the story of that struggle. And they did it for us. So for us to be like, this is just too much, then we deny what she has a right to. So my hope is that we keep fighting. You never, what's the alternative? You just quit? You just roll over? You just accept for your children and your grandchildren? The fight is for them. And your fight when you get our age is going to be for your children. We have to be a country where we exist for children, not for us, not for our benefit. Seniors, we can't just be making the world comfortable for us, all right? Because our needs are different from our children, Our votes can't just be for our comfort and safety. It has to be for education. Like, when was the last time we talked about education? When's the last time we've talked about how our kids are learning and changing and what they need and how their brains are different? How are we applying AI to make it better for them to learn instead of us being able to do less or to talk to some chat GTP, whatever you call it? I know I get that wrong.
Chat GPT. Yep.
See, now it sounds like my grandmother. I don't even know what they call it. You know what I mean.